Dave from New Jersey, it's the SNL Nerds, the show where two comics from New Jersey nerd out about Saturday Night Live. I'm your co-host, John Trumbull.
And I'm your co-host, Darren Patterson.
Merry Christmas, Darren!
Merry Christmas, John!
This is actually our last show before Christmas. The next one we do, it's going to be, Christmas will be all over. We'll be in that weird nether region between Christmas and New Year's.
Nether regions.
Nether regions. Like privates.
That's funny. Oh. Dusting off the old Beavis and Butthead impression there. You're welcome, America.
Yeah. You're just, because we are nothing if not current and topical and cutting edge.
Yeah, you know who the kids like these days? They like the Beavis and the Buttheads.
That's right.
Yeah. They're a real swinging duo with these teeny boppers these days.
That's right. So, this is, but we're here. We're here to do another episode of SNL, talk about it. This was season 47, episode 9 with Paul Rudd or Charli XCX. Paul Rudd and Charli XCX. I don't know why I said or.
Yeah. Well, in a way, it kind of was and or.
It kind of was. This episode did not go according to plan, you guys.
It did not. Holy moly. This is one of the most, I'll say unique episodes
Yes.
I've seen in a while.
This was, okay, so to recap, yesterday on Twitter, I think it was somewhere around 11 or 12 Eastern Time, SNL announced that they weren't going to do a regular show. They weren't going to do the planned show.
Right. I think you knew before I did. I think you left me a message.
I left you a message after I saw it on Twitter. I retweeted it because, the Twitter numbers are all important. I saw it maybe like 15 minutes after the show posted it. And then I gave you a call just to give you a heads up about it.
Yeah, and then I was out and about. I was like doing some grocery shopping or something, and then I heard the message, and then a friend of mine, friend of the show and friend in real life, Joanna Maharaj, sent me a message through Instagram. I was looking through Instagram, and it said that tweet saying, "Oh, due to the uptick in COVID, we will not have an audience for tonight's show, and we will be working with limited cast and crew." I saw that, and I was like, oh.
That sounded very ominous. And you're just like, limited cast and crew, you're just like, okay, how many cast members are you down? And then like a few hours after that, Charli XCX said because it was limited crew, she couldn't technically do her planned musical segments, so she had to pull out.
Yeah, and then I remember seeing some people tweet about how some cast members tested positive for COVID, but I couldn't find anybody who really confirm.
I was not able to verify any of those reports. If any cast members tested positive for COVID, we wish them the best, and we hope they have a swift recovery. But yeah, I don't know. I don't even want to repeat any of those because I have no idea how true they are.
Yeah, fair enough. But then and then after that, I saw like the New York Post was saying, "Oh, Tina Fey is going to be on tonight's show to fill in for Colin Jost, who's out due to COVID concerns." And at this point, I was like, "What the hell is going on with tonight's show?
Yeah,
like should they even have it? What is the show going to be? No music, no host. I mean, no host,
audience.
But no audience, limited cast and crew, no musical guest. I mean, what is going on here?"
So,
people.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was confusing and concerning and other C words, I'm sure.
Oh my!
Not like that. But yeah, so it was weird. All we really knew going in was we're not going to get a typical show, and is the show going into lockdown again? Are we going to have to do some other SNL at homes? Are we even going to have the January shows? And we still don't know the answers to a lot of these questions.
No, and I saw on Twitter a lot of people were saying, well, with all these changes that's happening, and if COVID and Omicron is on the rise and it's just that big of concern, we should just cancel the show. Just call it a day, wrap it up, give Paul his 5-timers jacket some other day, and just call it. And then I saw
Mhm.
some other people tweeting saying, "Oh, well, no, this might be really interesting. There might be sort of a more DIY type of feel, type of show, like be like more loosey goosey type of vibe to it." So some people
Mhm.
were for them continuing on with the show must go on, and some people were saying no, let's throw in the towel. And I don't know.
I'm wondering if like part of the reason that they went ahead with a show was I feel like there had to be some sort of contractual element to it. Like they
Mm,
had to put some show called Saturday Night Live on for an hour and a half. And I feel like that's got to be part of why they did the SNL at home shows as well, because they were contracted to do X number of episodes per season.
mm.
Um,
I didn't even
but
think of
I don't
that.
know. That's just me speculating. Um,
Mm. Thinking the legalese were getting involved in it, and it's possible, I guess.
it's possible. I don't know. I mean, so yeah. So what we got was a weird kind of hybrid between a really scaled down live show with some of the pre-taped things that they'd already completed, and like a clip show, like a best of thing of mostly Christmas sketches.
Mostly, yeah, and we did get a few live things, but
Hmm.
it was mainly the monologue, which we'll talk about, and the weekend update, which we'll also talk about. Other than
Right,
that, it was
and
all pre-taped
yeah,
stuff, and
and they
even
did
the
they did some intro segments as well. So
right. But actually, now I think about it, even that stuff was previously recorded, so even that
was it?
wasn't really live. Yeah, like when well in the monologue when Tom Hanks came out, I saw on the bottom saying previously recorded.
I
So
totally
apparently,
missed that. Okay,
yeah. So apparently they taped all of that stuff, in advance.
huh? Okay, I
So
mean that
mm,
makes sense. I mean, because why? Yeah, if you can prep it ahead of time, why wouldn't you? I mean, when the 75 to 90% of the show is pre-taped anyway, yeah, why not go all the way with it?
yeah, I even think like Brian Tucker tweeted out something saying how he was watching the show from home,
Yeah,
and he like the
after
show.
prepping the show all week, I saw that too, and
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, that was. I mean, yeah, it's got to be so trippy for anybody who worked on it because I mean, you're preparing for the show all week, and literally on presumably on Saturday they made this decision. Because like Paul Rudd, when he was introducing one of the sketches, he said we finished filming this like at 5 a.m. this morning. So
Yeah,
apparently they were going up to the last minute.
yeah. I mean, like we found out about all these changes. I guess it was like 8 hours or 8 or 9 hours before the show was about to start. So
Hmm.
I don't know. I was
Hmm.
looking at my phone for updates, like like stock market
I know,
ratings. I
yeah.
was
I mean, that's kind of what I was doing all Saturday afternoon as well. I was just on Twitter and just like checking that and checking other pages to see if there's any concrete information out there and not just rumor and innuendo. And
yeah. I
yeah,
was just
a
like
lot of
yeah. I was just like smoking cigarettes, drinking coffee, shakily looking at my Twitter account, just like, oh
mhm.
god, what's gonna happen now? Oh god, oh god.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, I can't imagine how stressful it was for anyone who works on the show. Or so, I mean, yeah, I mean,
Oof,
all power to them for powering through and doing what they did. So,
absolutely.
I mean, I guess this episode going in, you have to grade it on a curve.
Yeah, this won't. I mean, we're not going to be super what's critical about this episode because you really can't. It's well,
Yeah,
we're, like you said, grading it on the curve.
they did what they could.
Yes, they did their best.
Yeah. So, okay. So the show opens up with Tom Hanks coming out in the Five Timers jacket. We don't have a cold open. It just basically starts with a monologue.
No cold open, no opening credits either.
No opening credits, and that's something that has very rarely happened. And there's only very few episodes of the show that have not had an official musical guest.
Yeah, I was
So,
I was looking up. I think somebody said this is maybe like the fourth time that's ever happened in SNL history. I'll look. I know somebody
Andy
tweeted that.
Hoagland, who does the recaps for Entertainment Weekly, he said there isn't a ton of precedent for an episode to not have a musical guest. Rob Reiner didn't have one during the third episode of the first season, but John Belushi did his Joe Cocker impression to fill the gap. In season 4, at Walter Matthau's request, Garrett Morris sang an aria from Don Giovanni.
Ooh.
Sigourney Weaver didn't have an announced musical guest at the start of season 12, but Buster Poindexter of the New York Dolls fame was on hand to perform. And there might be one or two others, but
yeah, it's very rare that they don't have a musical guest lined up.
Yeah. So, but so Tom Hanks comes out. He's wearing the Five Timers Club jacket, the nice blazer with the 5 patch on them. He explains that they sent home the cast and most of the crew. And he introduces Tina Fey, who comes out and says, this is not the smallest audience I've performed for because I've done improv at a Macy's.
Accurate. I mean, I don't know for sure that she's done improv at a Macy's, but I could see her doing improv in a Macy's.
I feel like that's too specific of a reference for it not to be true.
Yeah. And if anybody's been to an improv show, sometimes those shows can be a little light when it comes to the audience.
Yeah, and that happens in stand-up as well. I mean, we've both performed for shows where hardly anybody shows up for whatever reason. I remember a few years ago, I did a show in the city with a lot of my good friends in comedy, and we had, I think, 2 or 3 people in the audience. There were more comedians than there were audience members. And
yeah, I've definitely had that happen too. Like when I used to run a show in Brooklyn and Williamsburg, there was one show in particular where it was raining really hard, and it was literally just like me, my co-host. I don't think even all the comics didn't show up. I think it was like maybe 2 or 3 comics, and like the audience was literally maybe 3 people, and one of them was my wife. So that happened.
Yeah,
and we were like, we had that vibe. It's like, hey, you know what? Let's just put on the show anyway, man. Let's just do it for us.
Oh yeah, I mean we still did that show, and I was related to one of the audience members as well, and it was very nice of him to come out and see me, and bring a friend. So
yes,
so I brought my people. I took care of my end.
I did my job.
Yeah. So Tom Hanks and Tina Fey, they introduce Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd comes out and just goes, "I'm extremely disappointed." And
yeah.
Oh, your heart just breaks for him.
Yeah, I know. It's a
and
bummer.
Also, like I was so looking forward to the show. Paul Rudd is literally one of my favorite hosts of SNL because he always does at least 1 or 2 things that are great.
Yeah, he's pretty fantastic.
And I was looking forward to seeing Charli XCX again. I haven't really kept up with her career, but I liked her when she was previously on the show back in 2014. So I was like, okay, well, we'll see what she's about these days.
Well, I mean, she does make an appearance in this show in one of the pre-tapes.
She does. So Keenan comes out and they present Paul Rudd with his 5 Timers jacket. And Keenan says, congratulations on hosting the show 4.5 times. And we also have a pre-tape segment of Steve Martin congratulating Paul.
Excuse me. It's a famous Steve Martin.
Famous Steve Martin. Mr. Steve Martin. And he's and in this segment he's saying the name Tom Hanks, but they've clumsily dubbed Paul Rudd over it.
My favorite actor, Paul Rudd.
Yeah. And we have a little cameo from Martin Short with Steve Martin as well, who's serving Steve drinks, dipping his fingers in the glass as he did in the previous 5 Timer sketch.
Oh, classy.
And we find out that Marty has only hosted the show 3 times, so he is not a member of the 5 Timers Club.
Can't we get Martin Short to host again? That man's electric.
I mean, I feel like we can and we should. Not you and me can, because we have no power and no clout. But
excuse you, we have this podcast that reaches tens of people.
Tens of people, and we just cracked 300 Twitter followers on the rebuilding the Twitter. again.
Oh, we're rising to the top, baby.
Yeah. So I mean, things are
So,
happening for us.
oh,
I mean, we
oh,
know
dude.
people. I mean, we are well acquainted with Wally, the cue card guy, on the show.
So yeah,
So
so we're kind of a big deal.
yeah, and within the last couple weeks, I wrote to Wally and I said, "Hey, could we possibly get this other crew person to guest on the podcast?" And Wally was like, "You know what? I don't know that person very well, and I don't feel comfortable asking." So
So
we've got a lot of clout, is what I'm saying.
yeah, we get emails returned from Wally. So that's
Hey, at
let's not
least he answered. That is an excellent point.
let's not focus on what he said. Let's just focus on the fact that we get an email from him.
Let's focus on the fact that we were briefly acknowledged, even, and we got a polite rejection. Yes, no,
That's right.
that's fine. Wally, we love you.
We do.
Um,
We love you, Wally. Mwah.
so I enjoyed this. I thought this was cute. I was surprised they did a five timers thing because since they talked about it in one of the promos for the show, I was kind of not expecting them to hit on it in the show itself. But I guess that's an expectation now.
Right. Yeah, I think so. Like once you host 5 times, that's it. They gotta make a big to do about it. Big
Mm-hmm.
big hoopla.
Yeah. I actually went back and rewatched the original Five Timers sketch from 1990 when Tom Hanks hosted for the fifth time.
Oh, that's the one
And
where you see a young Conan O'Brien.
that's correct. When Conan was just a writer on the show, he appeared as the guy who checks Tom Hanks's coat and gives him his blazer. Um, so it's really funny to look back on it and you're just like, hey, look, it's baby Conan O'Brien before he was famous. And I believe Conan wrote that sketch as well. So I always wonder if when they're bringing the Five Timers Club back, if Conan gets like some sort of residual because he basically came up with that concept.
Hmm. Maybe. I didn't even think about that.
I
Wow.
don't know enough about how the Writers Guild works to say for sure if he does that or not. But I would, if I ever got to meet Conan O'Brien, that is a question I would ask him. I'd be like, "Hey, are you getting a piece of that Five Timers Club action?"
You getting that 5 timers money there, buddy? Getting your beak wet?
So this, I mean, this was cute, and it's it's nice to see people rally and making the
Yeah,
best of
yeah.
a bad situation.
Yeah. It's one of those things where like we all know what's going on. We all know this is sort of a gloomy, dour time right now. What's with the new Black Plague raging rampant through our country. But
Hmm.
let's it's Christmas time. Let's try to rally and make some joy and some happiness happen.
Right. So Rudd introduces what is now the first sketch, which is a pre-tape that they completed taping on Thursday, and it's it's on YouTube as Home Goods, but Rudd introduces it as holiday gifts. So I don't know what to believe.
Uh, right out the gate, Red flubs it. It's a Red flub.
I mean, they're just lying to us.
Just
I mean,
this bold faced lying to our faces. Like I
I
trusted
don't
you,
know.
Rudd.
Do the SNL YouTube people just go rogue and title sketches whatever they feel like, or
I think so. Yeah, they play by their own rules.
I don't know. So we've got Paul Rudd as a director. He's directing a commercial for Home Goods.
Yes,
Uh,
he's playing Casey Homegoods, and he got this directing job on merit.
Correct. Yes. And we have Kate and 80 as these big enthused Home Goods customers who, when they're asked what they want for Christmas from Home Goods, they only want grandchildren.
Yeah, like it starts off. They're both two middle aged older women, the standard home goods demographic ladies. So in the commercial, it's Paul Rudd who's directing them, saying, "All right, well, tell us what you like about home goods. Tell us what you want." And of course, at first they say, "Oh, we don't want anything. Just we don't want to be a bother." And then Paul Rudd keeps prying, and of course, it comes out that they want grandchildren, or as 80 says, grandchildren.
Yeah. Yeah. She did a weird pronunciation thing there. I don't know if I like that or found it annoying. I was going
Grand.
back and forth on it.
After a while, it's after a while, her saying grandchildren. It's just like
Hmm.
it's kind of cute. I don't know. I got a chuckle out of it.
Okay. All right. I did like I didn't notice this line until I rewatched the sketch this morning, where they just kind of stopped and they were like, "Oh, we've never actually said what we want out loud before," and that is such a mom slash grandmother type thing where you just suffer in silence and
Yes.
you're just putting everybody else's needs ahead of your own. I thought that was cute.
Yeah, and
Um,
yeah, I mean, as the sketch goes on, it's the director Paul Rudd kind of stopping them and saying, "No, you should talk about stuff you can buy at Home Goods instead of talking about grandchildren." Like you said, you're huge Home Goods fans. And he looks at a piece of paper and said, "Just today alone, you brought a hand soap that smells like wine, and other things you get at Home Goods." And
mhm,
yeah,
mhm.
and then of course they go on, and then he tries to steer them away from the topic of grandchildren, but of course they keep going back to it, saying things like, "I want what would he say? Oh, I want Kelsey to be full of my son,
Yeah.
and I want my son's stuff to go into Kelsey, fulfill the
Mhm.
wedding promise."
Yes, yes. I mean, I thought overall this sketch was pretty good. I felt like it was a little long. Mostly it reminded me that I need to call my mother.
Yeah,
So
if
thanks
we
for the guilt trip, SNL.
thank you SNL, you've done it again. Fine, I'll call my mom. Fine, I get it.
She worries.
Yeah, was this sketch written by my mom?
It could have been. It could have been.
I'm looking at the
Um,
Reddit page and I don't see her name.
so next they did what's a classic, well-known SNL sketch. I don't know if we necessarily think of it as Christmas sketch, but it's they did Dick in a Box.
The Get Box.
Dick in a Box. This is from season 2, episode 9. It originally aired December 16th, 2006. Doesn't
Uh,
seem like that long ago, but wow.
yeah, it seems like only yesterday, but oh
Hmm.
boy. Yeah, I don't think we ever talked. Have we talked about Dick in a Box on this podcast?
We might have. I honestly don't remember. I mean, what is there to say about Dick in the Box at this late date? I
Yeah,
mean, it's funny. It's a classic sketch. These characters became recurring characters that they revived whenever Justin Timberlake came back to the show. I liked when they introduced the sketch, they made a special mention of Maya Rudolph and Kristen Wiig for the great support they're giving in the sketch.
yeah, because like I don't think they get enough credit for the sketch. I mean, they don't have a
Hmm.
huge part in it, but like the little parts they do have in it are pretty like laugh worthy. Like at the one point
Yeah.
where I think it's Timberlake is trying to he's seducing Maya Rudolph's character, but like rubbing a
Hmm.
rose all over her face and like
Just
on her
jamming
nose.
it into her face, and the
And
way that some men are wont to jam things in women's faces.
oh boy,
That
damn.
is the nicest way I can put that. I think.
Oh, easy fella, easy stud.
Um,
And I think at one point, Andy Samberg is like trying to like caress a feather over Kristen Wiig's face,
mhm.
and like, to the point where she like sort of awkwardly pushes the feather away, like, "No, don't get this out of my face."
Again, yeah, yeah, and I also liked. I mean, because it's basically just their expressions. Because this is all playing under the song, of course. I did like when one of them opens up the box and we see Maya Rudolph just like put her hand to her chest and just go and mouth "thank you."
That's some good stuff right there. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean it's a funny sketch. I love that they get busted at the end of the sketch. I like that. It's always nice when the sketch realizes how wrong the behavior of the people in the sketch are. So
yeah. Apparently putting your naked penis in a box and having people open the box. That's it's a little kind of wrong. If
more than a little, I would say.
more than a little.
I'm
Well,
going to
now
go
you
out on
tell
a
me.
limb and say that is full wrong. um, get get consent, guys.
You sound just like the judge.
Yes.
Oh boy. And also the song is genuinely good. It's a good song.
Yes.
It's a nice,
Yeah.
catchy R&B song. I genuinely like it.
Yeah. I mean, because it's the Lonely Island guys and Justin Timberlake. Uh, so yeah, and it sounds like actual early '90s R&B, and they're made up like "Color Me Bad" and all that. So I mean, it's a fun sketch. I don't know if I needed to see it again, but I didn't mind seeing it again.
Yeah, I think they put this in because they know it's a crowd favorite, it's a crowd
Hmm.
pleaser, and trying to get trying to build sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Like just trying to make things
Goodwill.
lighter, goodwill. Like yeah, they're trying to like
Yeah.
boost up the energy in these gloomy doomy times, and I get it.
Yeah. Yeah. And okay, so next we had a another pre-tape that they prepared for this show called "An Evening with Pete." This was written by Dan Beulah, Stephen Castillo, and Pete Davidson. Um, this was kind of surprising. It's a Raging Bull parody.
Yeah, this. I mean, I'm gonna say it off the bat. This I thought this was sketch of the night. This really surprised me at how good it was. So it's a sketch that takes place in the future of was it 2054, and
Yep,
we see an older aging Pete Davidson getting ready to do his performance, his
his
nightclub
nightclub
act.
act. Yeah.
We see he's put on a bit of weight, has a huge forehead and a receding hairline that goes all the way back,
Hmm.
and yeah, it's kind of I don't know how would you describe. And oh, it's all the whole thing is shot in black and white as well.
Yeah, I mean it's a Raging Bull homage. I've never actually seen Raging Bull. I need to like sit down and actually watch that film someday. I hear it's quite good. Um,
I hear good things. I hear good
like
things.
when this came up, I was like, oh my god, I was not aware I would have to be familiar with Raging Bull to fully get this sketch. But I know enough about it through cultural osmosis that yeah, I got the gist of it at the very least.
Yeah, I got
Um,
kind of like some Mr. Saturday Night vibes from it a little bit too.
there was a little of that too. Yeah, yeah. And we had a robot Colin Jost introducing him,
Yeah,
um, saying
just
introducing him as resident young person Pete Davidson, and
right. And
Mikey
he was
Day in the audience heckling him, "Do Chad!" Um,
I don't do Chad no more, right? I just can't do Chad, kid, right?
yeah. Most lifelike Colin Jost has been in ages.
Oh wow.
So I enjoyed seeing the Robo Jost short circuit.
Yeah, and yeah, so basically like Pete Davidson is sort of like this sort of over the hill, I guess Catskills comedian
Hmm.
type of that's the vibe I got. And it's like him doing the act that he used to do, back in when he was on SNL. So it's like
Yeah.
him getting behind the Weekend Update desk and doing the old shtick, making jokes about Staten Island. It's very meta. The whole thing it's pretty meta.
Yeah, I mean, it reminded me. Uh, it had the same sort of vibe as that old sketch with John Belushi, where he's visiting the graves of all the other SNL cast members, and he's like the last surviving member. Don't look back in anger.
Mm.
It reminded me a bit of that.
Yeah, I saw a
And
lot of
we also
people.
had. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I saw a lot of people online saying, yeah, it had like a lot of strong like Tom Schiller vibes to it.
Schiller Vision stuff. Yeah.
Yes, very much so.
Um, I Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was a bit long, but hey, I get it. They're trying to fill time. I feel like they let most of the new stuff this week run a little longer than they would have normally. I
I
feel
could
like if this was on a regular show, it might have been edited down a little tighter.
I could see that. I mean,
Yeah.
I really got a kick out of this sketch. I liked how it takes place in the future, but everything looks like it's from the 1940s for some reason. I like how they
I
had
mean,
Paul.
I felt like it looked more early '60s, like 1960s Vegas,
Okay,
like
I could see it.
1962. But
I don't know how time works.
whatever. It looks old timey. That's the point. And
Yeah,
we should mention we had Paul Rudd in there as uh, his old writer uh, Eddie Corbin,
right.
who
His
at
old
first
writing part.
Pete's like I've never met this guy before, but eventually we have a little heartwarming reunion between the 2.
Right. At first, and like I like how Paul Rudd played it, where
Hmm.
like, hey, how you doing, Pete? It's like, oh, you're looking swell there, pal. We used to, remember we used to write like back in the old days. And then
Hmm.
Pete kind of barks at him like, get out of here, you bum! I don't know you anymore.
Yeah.
It was a lot of that. Like the whole thing, I don't know. Like I said, like it's very meta. It's very kind of inside baseball-y stuff. I mean, they had like dark jokes too, like when Pete Davidson wanted to sing with his old friend Machine Gun Kelly, and he brought out an urn full of his ashes.
Mm-hmm.
It
Machine
was
Gun
a
Kelly due to die in 2051. By the way,
That's right.
so just so
mark,
you know,
mark your calendars.
just so you know,
Right. The octopus,
we don't make the rules.
Bongo the octopus said it was so. So
Yeah, exactly. By the way, is Andrew Dismukes dead now? I don't know. We saw him in some film segments. We
somebody
hope
tweet
he's
at him.
okay.
Somebody tweet at him, please. See if he's
Yeah,
alive.
yeah. So, yeah, I enjoyed this. I thought it was a bit long, but pretty good. Yeah, and technically so impressive.
Yeah, I mean, I think I like this a little bit more than you do. Like, I really thought it did have some heart to it, and it had, some little bit of gravitas. I like the meta-ness of it. I know I keep saying meta a lot, but I really dug it. And Pete Davidson did some pretty good acting in this too. Like, this is probably some of
Hmm.
his best acting work on the show, I thought.
He has improved as an actor. Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, guys, watch An Evening with Pete Davidson. I thought this was a slam dunk.
All right, so next we have an older sketch, Santa and His Elves. This is from season 41, episode 7. Original air date December 5th, 2015. This was written by James Anderson, Vanessa Bayer, Kent Sublette, and Keenan Thompson. And Keenan introduced us, and he said, like, part of the reason was he just loved that sweet, innocent Vanessa Bayer was playing a perverted elf.
All right, so that's his kink. All right, I guess I can see that.
Well, I think it just amused him because he knows the real Vanessa Bayer.
Keenan's into elf
So,
play. All right.
yeah, so it's Bobby Moynihan as Santa, Keenan, Vanessa Bayer, and host Ryan Gosling as elves who want to be punished for not doing their work. I had absolutely no memory of this sketch.
I kind of remember this sketch,
Hmm.
but yeah, I mean, I guess that says a lot about the sketch.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, because it didn't. I don't know. It seemed like the escalation really wasn't there in this one. It was just them saying, "Oh, we messed up these toys, Santa. I guess we've been naughty. I guess maybe
Hmm.
you should spend." And like that, it just kind of beat that same drum over and over again. I didn't really take too many notes about it.
Yeah, I don't have much to say about this one. It didn't really send me. I like the idea of it more than the execution.
Yeah,
So
I'll go with you there. I'll agree with that.
yeah, and the weird thing is, this was the same show where they did the Ryan as part of the couple that's overjoyed to meet Santa, and that was a
Oh,
memorable sketch. So I'm just like, well, why did we choose this one? And I
yeah.
feel I feel like a lot of the older stuff they chose was because of runtime. You know,
Hmm. Interesting. So they just went with the longest stuff.
I think that was. I don't think it was just that, but I feel like that was probably in the mix.
Hmm, very possible. Very possible.
So
Didn't even
that's my
think of that.
feeling anyway.
No, I didn't even think of that. Yeah, like this is one of the sketches where I was like, why this one? Like out of all
Hmm.
the Christmas sketches you have, at your disposal and that's in the vault of SNL, you went with Santa and his elves.
Yeah, I feel like it was just like a lot of personal favorites and a lot of like, oh well, this runs a little longer. This will be good. So
Right. Like I mean, I'm fine if you chose a sketch that was maybe you thought was a little bit more underrated or deserved more laughs or maybe with
yeah,
time aged a little bit better. Like that's fine. I'm always down for watching some deep cuts. But like this one it seems like it was kind of blah then because we don't remember it and it's
yeah,
kind of blah.
exactly.
It's kind of blah now. Like one of the sketches we're going to talk about, I actually remember a lot more than this one
Hmm.
and it's older.
Yeah,
It's probably the next
yeah.
sketch we're going to talk about.
Next sketch we have Tom Hanks. When he introduced this, he said it was from 1991. Tom Hanks is a dirty, stinking liar. It's actually from
Wow.
December 8th, 1990, which was Tom Hanks's fifth time hosting. It's season 16, episode 8, the Global Warming Christmas Special. This one was one that I semi remembered. It's not one I've rewatched in forever, but it's got Mike Myers as Carl Sagan, Tom Hanks as Dean Martin, doing an incredible Dean Martin, by the way.
Yeah, see, this is one of the sketch. This is the sketch I remember more than the
Mhm.
Santa and his elf sketch, which says a
Same.
lot about this sketch.
Yeah,
I mean, like you said, this came out in 1990, so I was like junior high or something. I guess like I was like
hmm
just turned 13, and like I remember really digging a
I would have
sketch
been
for.
18. So yeah,
Okay, yeah, I remember really digging a sketch for two. I liked, like you said, Tom Hanks' Dean Martin impression. You know that. Ooh, that's so upsetting. I
well,
don't
that
know why.
won't be right. I mean, yeah, and
Oh, that ain't
it's
right.
it's wonderful.
And I also got a. I remember getting a kick out of Dana Carvey's Paul McCartney. I
I think this was the very first time I ever saw Dana Carvey do Paul McCartney, and it's just like, well, you're all screwed up, and then and then where are you? I mean, and I just he nailed Paul McCartney. I love Dana Carvey's Paul McCartney, and it was also fun to see. It was fun to see Victoria Jackson as Sally Struthers. If you weren't around in the late '80s, early '90s, you might not remember all those omnipresent late night commercials of Sally Struthers just like begging you to donate to like feed starving children in Africa or homeless pets or whatever. It seemed like every cause had Sally Struthers like just always on the verge of tears, just begging you to like whatever you can spare. And
Yeah, those were real bummers. I remember those. Every
those
time,
were those were
every time I was like, "Mom, can we give her some money? I'm so sad. Baby, people are
they were
hungry."
like the Sarah McLaughlin
All right.
commercials of their day with the sick pets and stuff.
Oh my god.
We
And
we also got to see Jan Hooks and Phil Hartman as Crystal Gale and Isaac Asimov. What a weird combo that is.
really weird. I was like, yeah, I mean, yeah, I remember that part, and even back then, I don't think I knew who Crystal Gale was, but like, I still liked it because
Yeah,
it's Jan Hooks, and
country music singer has really long hair, like hair down to her probably her waist or her knees.
right.
Um,
I mean, I looked it up. I see her biggest hit is "Don't It Make My Brown Eyes Blue," which, of course,
oh yeah,
if you listen to Light FM back in the '80s, you must have heard 100 times.
it's probably still playing on Light FM today. I
Ooh.
would imagine.
Go to your local
Um,
dentist office and see if they're playing "Don't It Make My Brown Eyes Blue."
there you go. We had Kevin Nealon cameoing as George Hamilton, like looking very tan.
Yes.
Uh,
Does my tan frighten you?
uh, and we had Ralph Nader, who and I looked it up. This is the same show where Tom Hanks did the Five Timers sketch, and Ralph Nader has a cameo in that sketch as well. So
Yeah,
they were making full use of Ralph Nader being in the studio that evening.
yeah, it's like Tom Hanks buds with Ralph Nader.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it was just like we have this random celebrity here. Let's just use them as much as possible. Uh, and then at the very end, we have Chris Farley come in as Dom DeLuise and Julia Sweeney coming in as Petula Clark.
Right,
And they were both like kind of newish cast members at this point in the show's history. So
I think like towards the end, they like Carl Sagan is just constantly bringing the I guess the special down with his talk of global warming and how the
yes.
planet is about to. It's a good thing we solved that here in 2021.
Oh yeah, no, this is none of this is a problem at
Nope,
all
nope,
anymore.
everything's a-okay. So, but yeah.
Well, wait, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to pause the recording for a minute. There's another hurricane coming through.
Oh, okay. Another
Sorry.
hurricane. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, and wasn't it a 60-degree weather last week in on the East Coast in the middle of December?
Yes, it was. It was. It was.
Ay, caray. But
Um,
so
so,
like all
folks, recycling not the worst idea.
yeah,
Maybe get a hybrid car if you can afford it.
yeah. Why not? What the hey?
Yeah.
But yeah, but all this talk of the planet dying was bringing down Dean Martin's buzz. So he
Yeah.
kind of turned it into like one of those old school like variety show Christmas specials from the 60s and
Yeah.
70s and
Yeah.
had them come
Um,
out.
this is fun. It was kind of rapid fire. It's like hitting a lot of stuff. It's a long sketch. It's like nearly 10 minutes. So
Yeah,
again, I feel like this was chosen at least partially because of its length.
that's true. Yeah, it is. It's a long one. I forgot how long it is, but
Yeah.
it is good to see like SNL putting out a sketch that aired so like later in time, like from the early '90s. Like you rarely see
Mhm.
that on NBC anymore. Like usually when they
That's
put
true,
out
and it's not one that's been played ad infinitum over the last 30 years. So
exactly, yeah. Like when I was talking
yeah,
about deep cuts, this is a bit of a deep cut. This one right here.
this is a bit of a deep cut. Yeah, I mainly remembered it because of Tom Hanks's great Dean Martin impression and Dana Carvey's great Paul McCartney impression.
Ooh,
By the way, do you have any idea who was playing Linda McCartney in this sketch?
no, no, I
I
don't.
did not recognize her at all. I just in my notes I just wrote some rando as as Linda McCartney.
Some rando. They got some like somebody in hair and makeup. You're like, you get
I
over
mean,
here.
she had no lines, so yeah, I have no idea.
We need somebody blonde. Is there a PA around that's blonde?
Yeah, who knows? Who knows?
Maybe.
All
Yeah.
right. Anyway, next we have Weekend Update with Tina Fey and Michael Che. We got rhyming in Weekend Update.
Faye and Che.
Fey
Okay.
Che.
Hey.
Um, I liked I liked how Che just like threw a blazer on over his hoodie.
Yeah, classy.
I mean, that was cool. And again, I mean, classy of Tina Fey to come down and help them out on this when they were in a bind. Uh,
Yeah, and it was
not that Che couldn't have done it by himself, but there's something about when you have the two anchors on Update, you get that nice back and forth, the ping pong and back and forth.
yeah,
I enjoyed that.
you get the nice banter. And yeah, they did, and so when they did the weekend update, they didn't even use the weekend update set. They just literally just got like two director chairs, put them on the stage, and they're just sitting there. It's Faye and Che telling jokes to
Right.
Keenan, Paul, and Hanks. Three
And
people.
I'm sure that was a reflection of because why keep some crew members there just to bring in the weekend updates set and set it up on home base? So that was a smart way to do it. Just set up a couple chairs at home base and have Paul Rudd, Keenan, and Tom Hanks in the audience and the crew, of course, just reacting in real time. And I thought it worked beautifully.
I do
Um,
too. Yeah.
I I really loved it. I mean, I thought they were all solid jokes, and I think you also have to give them credit for it because they didn't get to have what Weekend Update usually has is the graphics behind them, which is usually like a nice button on the joke or sometimes like the full joke. These are all jokes that just had to work purely verbally. So it was great, and I think they're both killer writers. They can both deliver jokes beautifully. So I really enjoyed this. I thought this was great.
Yeah, like when I was talking about earlier about how I thought the show would have like sort of more of a raw DIY, loosey goosey feel to it after after hearing about all the news earlier
Hmm.
that day. This is what I was talking about. It would be
Yeah,
more like kind of, hey, yeah, we're just no one here. It's just us, and we're just gonna shoot, tell these jokes and shoot the shit. It's kind of like one of those days when you go into the office at work and and you go there like on a Saturday or a
yeah,
Sunday when like no one's really
hmm
there, where like
yeah.
you're kind of doing your work, but you're also kind of it's a lot more looser. It's not as stringent. Like
The bosses are breathing down your necks, man.
yeah, that's
You're
right,
not being
man.
hassled by the man.
That's right. You get to kick up your feet and don't have to worry about the man down your neck. Suit and ties, brother.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't really write down any jokes. I did like Jay reported on a story. He said talking about a judge that was caught on video using the N word, and then he just sort of segued into that. And he's like, "So why are me and Keenan the only cast members here?"
Yeah.
I
That
got a real laugh out of that, and then we cut to Keenan in the audience, and Keenan was just kind of like, "I feel you, brother."
yeah. The only two cast members to show up to the show,
Mhm.
Keenan and Che. Interesting. Hmm.
I
Uh,
mean, yeah, and I also like they had a line about how Bruce Springsteen he sold his song catalog for like 500 million this week, and Jay said no, he finally has the money to move out of New Jersey. That's a
oh
good
boy,
line.
it was a good line. But yeah, but
Yeah.
Jersey's nice, guys. Always ragging on Jersey.
Well, yeah, we're easy to rag on. I get it.
Yeah, I get it.
I
We're
get
under
why it happens.
we're the dogs. I get it. We can take it.
Yeah,
just get
but
kicked around.
I thought that Tina Fey and Michael Che had a really nice chemistry together, and I would honestly like to see them do Update together again.
That is very true. Yeah, they riffed off each other pretty well. I think there was one. I think I wrote it down. Oh yeah, they talked about how now we have our first New York has its first female police commissioner.
Oh
Uh,
yes,
so that means policing is about to get a lot more passive aggressive. And,
yeah.
and then Tina just shot
They'll find your crimes just by going through your phone when you're in the shower.
right, and like Tina just shot the a look at the camera like,
Well, I mean, Tina gave great support in that. I mean, she's just such a pro, man. And I'm really curious. I wonder, like, I know Tina Fey was also a guest writer on this episode, so I can only assume that she did a fair amount of the weekend update jokes herself. I wonder if Colin Jost was able to contribute any jokes to this, or if it was
hmm.
all just Fey and Che, or what. I'm very curious about that.
Maybe I'm trying to find out who wrote what on the Reddit, but I'm not seeing any. Not
Yeah,
seeing
we don't
anything.
have anything on that for
Okay.
this.
All right. Well, yeah, guys, call in. Let us know.
So
There was actually one part that I liked where at before they did the segment, Tina talked to the audience
mhm.
or audience quote
Yes,
unquote, and I think Faye talked to Tom saying, "Hey, all right, we have. Can you confirm, Mister Hanks, that you've never heard any of these jokes before?" And then Hanks was like,
yes.
"Not a one, except for the two you blew in rehearsal."
I mean, how quick is Tom Hanks? That was.
He's good,
I
and
mean, Tom Hanks. It was fun. It was loosey goosey. Hanks was given as good as he got.
there was
It was just fun. You felt like you were just hanging out with them.
yeah, I think at one point, the Tina Fey told the joke about how it's the anniversary of the first person to get the COVID vaccine, and all I had to do was
Hmm.
lie about being a nurse. Not a
Hmm.
great response, and she was like, "Damn it, I blew it again."
Yeah.
So I like the
Well,
loose feel of this one.
yeah. This was the highlight of the show for me. This was sketch of the night.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
this was good stuff.
All right. Next, we have another pre-tape. The Christmas Socks. No writing credits on this one as of yet, but I'm sure that Kyle Mooney had a hand in it.
Oh, indeed.
This was something that Paul Rudd said that they shot on Friday morning. This was like a sort of parody of the Christmas shoes, I think.
It's definitely a parody of Christmas shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, for those that don't know, if you go Google "Christmas Shoes" by I believe the Christian vocal band New Song, you'll see like yeah, this is definitely a take on that.
Yeah. We had Kyle as a 6-year-old boy in a department store. He's buying socks for his mother. He explains they had a tough year because their bird flew away. Paul Rudd's like uh, also in line behind them, and Kyle's just telling him this whole story, and they end up holding up the line behind them, and it's this long meandering thing. I'm sad to say I didn't think much of this one, honestly.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. This one, I mean, the premise is interesting enough. A play on the song "Christmas Shoes," which is a song I think most people know about or heard of. It's basically like this Christmas song about this boy who doesn't have enough money or who's trying to buy his mom some shoes for Christmas. His mother is terminally ill, so he wants to buy shoes for his mother so she can look nice for Jesus. Yeah, that's a song.
So it's a
S-
real upbeat kind of number.
yeah, and you want something nice and upbeat like that for this show.
That sounds like a real toe tapper.
Yeah. So this is a riff on that, but yeah, this sketch, it like you said, like I would say like the best way to describe it is it does meander because like it's
This is one I would say it definitely needed to be edited tighter. This was like 6 minutes, I think, and the song they're singing it's a very monotonous kind of tune, so it just kind of drones.
yeah,
Uh,
no, absolutely, because like
so
it's them
yeah,
going back and forth about this bird. It's just really Paul Rudd asking about the bird, And then Keenan, who plays the cashier, is saying, "Hey, could you guys take this elsewhere? Because there's a line forming behind you." But then they keep talking about the bird. And honestly, at one point, Heidi, who's waiting online, she like snaps in. It's like, "Hey, could you guys take it elsewhere? We need to." Like when she says that, the music stops. I woke up because
we were all Heidi in that moment. Yes,
like I found my attention waning. Like I was like kind of. I was like, oh man, I mean, look at my phone. I mean, look at like I wasn't paying attention to the sketch because it was just like droning on. And like when Heidi chimes in, I woke up. I was like, oh, what? This is still happening?
Yeah. And so I felt like this was just more weird for the sake of being weird, and it was more weird than funny, which I'm never a big fan of. I don't like just ultra random humor.
Right.
I mean, random is fine if it's got a joke to it, but I felt like this was just more just being random. So
yeah, that's kind of Kyle's bread and butter a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And then,
so I found it really monotonous, but hey, it ate up 5.5 minutes of airtime, and really isn't that half the point?
Isn't that the meaning of Christmas?
Yeah, isn't that the true meaning of Christmas?
It eats up time.
It eats up airtime on your nationally broadcast comedy show.
Yes, it meets a deadline. And then as the sketch goes on, 80 comes in as the kid's mom, saying like, "Oh, we have news about your bird." She doesn't like the fact that Paul Rudd is now friends with her, young son. And then it cuts to Charli XCX as the bird that they were talking about, TJ Rocks. Yeah. Now
this is the only time she appears in the show, unfortunately. So
yeah.
I mean, it's nice that she still had a presence of some kind in the show, but
yeah, and we find out the bird talks and sings, and the bird started a band with the Junkyard Boys, and then they sing a song, and then Paul Rudd proposes to the 80 Bryant, and then it kind of ends, and I'm like, this is the hell was this?
That was the thing that happened.
Again, not only is it super random, but it also drags, and that's never good.
Yeah, no, not good. Nothing else to say about this one.
Yeah, absolutely. Moving on.
Next we have Steve Martin's "A Holiday Wish." This I think is one of the all-time classics. This is terrific. Just 2 minutes of Steve Martin giving his Christmas wish. I don't think we need to go through this beat by beat. This is just great. It's funny. It's just Steve Martin performing, and it's really funny material. Paul Rudd said in his intro that he memorized this in high school and performed it himself, and he didn't realize how lame that was at the time. I just love the thought of Paul Rudd being a teenage comedy nerd who memorized this.
Yeah, I think Paul Rudd and I, if we were teenagers at the same time, at the same place, in the same school, we could have been friends. I think about that. But yeah, I think somebody
that's the dream.
Yeah, that's the dream. My God. I think somebody on Twitter, though, mentioned, it's like, well, if Paul Rudd memorized this whole thing, why didn't they just have Paul Rudd recreate it? Like, why did they have to show the Steve Martin version? And like, part of me is like, maybe I kind of would have liked to see that.
I'd rather see the original, honestly. I love Paul Rudd, but would it have been better than seeing Steve Martin perform it for real? I don't think so.
I don't know. I mean, in this age of reboots and remakes, we could have him redo this. It would be
they did a little of that in the 45th anniversary show, where I remember they had Emma Stone come on and do Rosanna Dana on Update. And I was like, okay, well, that's fun, and she did a good job with it, but is it better than seeing Gilda Radner do it? No, not really.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, I mean, when you hear the lines, like, when you want your, when he's talking about your Christmas wishes, and one of the wishes being a 31-day orgasm performed by Rosanna Arquette, you really want Steve Martin there to say that.
Rosanna Arquette and Paulina... And it's Porvasco, who was the big Sports Illustrated swimsuit model of the time.
Yeah. So. And of course he wants revenge on all his enemies. They should die like pigs in hell.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, I just love the turn of that, and and then by the end, he's just like, first that crap about the kids, and then and he just gets caught up in his own desires. Uh, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, and it was always fun to revisit that one.
That was a good one.
That was a good one. Next, we had. I don't think this was a full sketch. This was. Oh, by the way, I'm sorry. That Steve Martin Holiday Wish. That's from season 12, episode 6, December 6, 1986 was the original air date on that. So next we have Martin Short and Paul McCartney as Caleb and Monty. I think this wasn't a full sketch. I think this was just a selection from a sketch.
Yeah, this is the sketch I was talking about as to why they included it, because like you said, it is part. It's not even the whole thing. It's like part of the thing. But luckily, you can see the whole thing on YouTube. The whole sketch is on YouTube.
Right.
Basically, in this sketch, it's a pageant tryouts, and we see first we see Keenan trying out for the show. I believe this is from a 2012 episode.
And it is from I have it here, December 15th, 2012, season 38, episode 10.
Nice.
With Martin Short auditioning as Caleb and Paul McCartney as his cousin by marriage, Monty, who is a triangle player, and Martin Short is forbidding him to sing.
Right, exactly. And we also see Jason Sudeikis and Cecily Strong as the judges. And the whole sketch is basically just Martin Short berating Paul Simon, saying like, you're not. Oh, what'd I say?
You said Paul Simon.
Oh, right. The other Paul McCartney. Apologies.
You mixed up your Lorne Michaels musician friends named Paul.
Oh, so many Pauls. All these Pauls. But yeah, so it's basically Martin Short berating McCartney, saying you're not here to sing. You're here just to play this triangle. I have $1 million voice, and you're a lump.
And no one wants to hear you sing.
Exactly.
And it's also. I also find it vaguely depressing because it's during the Paul McCartney hair dye years when he was like married to Heather Mills, and he's like still dyeing his hair this really artificial dark brown to try and look younger. And thank God he stopped with that.
Yeah. Just let it go, man. Just let it go, Greg.
Because it's like, Paul, we said we would love you when you were 64. You were well past that at this point.
Yeah.
You were not fooling anybody.
Yeah, just embrace who you are, man. It's good. We're here for you. We love you.
Yeah. This was apparently written by Seth Meyers.
Oh, all right. But so throughout the whole sketch, it's just Martin Short chewing up the scenery, berating Paul, saying no one wants to hear you sing, and then they give Paul McCartney the chance to sing. And what's supposed to happen in the sketch is they let him sing. The wall behind them separates, and we see it's the Paul McCartney's band on stage, and then Paul McCartney goes into a performance of "Wonderful Christmas Time."
See, I'd forgotten that, and they didn't show that bit on the show. I would have enjoyed it much more if they'd done that. Because honestly, I feel like the show really could have used a musical segment.
Yeah, and I don't get that. Like, why would they cut it off before? Like, the whole thing was like a build-up to the performance, and they just cut it up. They just cut it off before the performance. So it was just the whole sketch was just all build-up, and then it just ends. So like why
just interrupt us?
Yeah, I mean, maybe they didn't want to. I guess maybe pay for the rights again, or I don't know how legal.
Yeah, maybe that was it. Who knows?
But then, like, why show it at all? If you like
thinking of other Christmas music stuff they did, I remember like Bruce Springsteen being on the show a number of years back, and he did his Santa Claus is Coming to Town,
right?
And they were all sorts of cameos who came on stage with him, and I'm assuming like a lot of ex-cast members and stuff. I remember Amy Poehler was there, probably just to see Springsteen, because and like Paul McCartney comes on and he's just like playing Jingle Bells on it. And that would have been so much fun to see.
Yeah, I remember that. That was pretty cool.
And I think they even had snow happening too. I'm gonna have to look that up on YouTube once we're done recording.
That was a good
I want to
one.
see that again now. I hope that's on the internet somewhere.
Yeah, but like the whole sketch was a lead up to this performance. Yeah. And you just cut it off before the reason that this whole sketch is here. So then why even show the sketch? Just show something else. Show Mr. Robinson putting cabbages on dolls or something. I don't like show
I
his.
would have loved to have seen. They did a Christmas sketch a number of years ago where Pete Davidson was playing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I'm pretty sure we talked about it on the podcast before.
Yes, yeah, that was a
Um,
good one.
yeah, where like when Santa leaves them alone, then Rudolph's immediately like, well, 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 and then he starts bullying the other reindeer. It's a hilarious sketch, and I would have loved to have seen that again. I haven't seen that in a while either, but yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I know we said earlier on the show that they were just sort of picking out sketches that were long enough just to fill up time and pad the time, but this sketch isn't even long enough to do that, and they cut off again. Like the fact that they just
Yeah.
aired it without the reason for this whole sketch is just baffling to me. Like, dude,
It's a
just
weird
you.
choice. Yeah.
It's a weird choice. I was like, I would have rather them just air an entirely different Christmas sketch, maybe something from the early '80s, or the Don Ohlmeyer years, or or Dick Ebersol years, or even from the '70s. They
Yeah.
didn't show anything from the original cast. But
I mean, the show for a long time they've more or less pretended that the Dick Ebersol years do not exist.
yeah,
I
that's
mean, you
true.
hardly ever you only see like the most popular stuff ever revisited on clip shows, and if it wasn't for the fact that Eddie Murphy and Billy Crystal were on during those years, I don't know. I don't think we'd even see that much.
Hmm. Yeah,
I mean, and I guess I see where Lauren's coming from. If I were in his shoes, I probably wouldn't want to promote too much of the 5 years when I was not running the show, but
yeah.
they did some good stuff on those years too. You know?
That's true. It wasn't all like I think a lot of people kind of think, oh, the years Lauren weren't there, the whole show was just just total poo poo caca. And I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, actually, I should go back and watch those episodes because I'm sure that it couldn't have all been terrible. I think maybe they get a bad rap unjustly.
Look, they did a year with Billy Crystal, Harry Shearer, Christopher Guest,
Martin Short.
Martin Short, and like Julia Louis Dreyfus was on the show. That I mean, how is there not good stuff in that year? And those are some of the very first SNL episodes I ever saw. So yeah, I would like to revisit more of those years. Maybe during the summer hiatus, we should
Maybe.
look back at some of those episodes. But
Maybe.
hey, speaking of Eddie Murphy, the
Ooh.
next sketch they showed was North Pole News Report, written by Mikey Day and Streeter Seidel. This was from the Eddie Murphy episode from December 21st, 2019, season 45, episode 10. Um, Not much to say about this because we covered it 2 years ago on the podcast. That was episode 64, I believe. So go look that up and see what we had to say.
Yeah. Yeah. Go back into the archives and dip back into the vault
Mhm.
and see our thoughts about it then, because they're
Yeah,
pretty much the same. Like I watched it and I was like, yeah, my thoughts back then are pretty much the same now.
and enjoyed it then. Still enjoyed it now. I mean, it was so recent. I honestly only half paid attention to it because I was like, okay, I remember this, and it's not far enough in the past for me to be especially nostalgic about it. So
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, this was like probably the last sketch of the night, if I remember, or second. I think it was the last sketch. And by this point, I think Eddie was more in his groove. Because
oh
like,
yeah, in the Eddie Murphy show, yes, it
yes, on the Eddie
was
Murphy,
the
yeah,
last sketch of that night. Yes.
yeah. Because like, I mean, even as big a Eddie Murphy fan as I am, even I can admit, like, in the beginning of that episode, he was a little rusty, but like towards the end of the show, he got more comfortable. And I think this sketch, the North Pole News sketch, was like the culmination of him totally being back to the old Eddie.
Yeah.
My eyes just widened and was like, he's back! The old Eddie is back! I was so
Hmm.
happy. Like, I fanned myself and like fainted on the couch. He's
All
back.
right, so we needed more Paul Rudd in the show, so they did another Paul Rudd pre-tape from when he was on the show before. This was from December 7th, 2013, season 39, episode 8. That was Paul Rudd's third time hosting with One Direction as his musical guest. There's a time marker right there. Back when Harry Styles was still with One Direction,
Oh boy. Wow.
and it was adult One Direction fan where it's just Paul Rudd with a bunch of teen and preteen girls, and he's freaking out about One Direction as much as they are.
Yeah, I didn't write much about this one because it's kind of kind of a one note type of joke. It's like, oh, it's funny because it's a grown ass man who's into teenage
Yeah,
music.
I liked it though. I think it's a sketch that with the wrong person in it, it could come off as kind of creepy. But because Paul Rudd is so charming and non-problematic, it just plays as very innocent, and it's just like, oh yeah, he's just this middle-aged dude who's really into One Direction.
Right.
And I think it's fun to see him kind of berate some of the kids for not knowing as much as he does.
That is true.
Where he,
That is funny. I
I,
think, yeah, I agree with you.
you don't know your basic facts. I mean, that's fun. This, by the way, was written by Chris Kelly and Sarah Schneider.
Oh, the two people
So,
who wrote on the other two, the TV show on HBO Max now.
oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah,
So, I
great
mean,
show. Watch it.
yeah, I enjoyed this. This was yeah, it was fun to revisit, and it got a little more Paul Rudd in the show, and just reminded us as if we needed the reminder of why he's such a great host.
Right. More Rudd. Can't go wrong with more Rudd.
More Rudd. That's
And
what the people want.
yeah, and I agree with you. I think if anybody else had done this, it would have been it kind of come across, maybe creepy or maybe just
Mhm.
like kind of played out because like that trope of oh, it's funny when an older man is into teeny bopper music. I feel
Mhm.
like I've seen this before in other sketches, like maybe a grown ass man who was into New Kids on the Block or a grown ass man who was into NSYNC or whatever. I feel like I've seen
Mhm.
that in sketches before, so this could come across as kind of hack, but like the fact that it's Paul Rudd and like he just plays it with such genuine joy and innocence that it does kind of warm my heart and win me over a bit.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Coming up next, we got Now That's What I Call Christmas. This was from a show that Jimmy Fallon hosted on December 21st, 2013. It was season 39, episode 10. Another one of those rapid fire type sketches where the host and several cast members they play a bunch of musicians and they're singing Christmas songs. So,
Uh, yeah, pretty much. It's pretty straightforward. We see
mhm.
Fallon do a Michael Bublé impression. We see him do a Axl Rose impression. He
Kate McKinnon played Shakira. That
yeah
was kind of fun.
yeah
Pitbull's in there.
he does
I'm like, oh yeah, remember when Pitbull was a thing?
wait, was that actually Pitbull or was that Jimmy Fallon being Pitbull?
That was Jimmy Fallon as Pitbull.
Oh
Yeah,
right, yeah, I remember when
Jimmy
Pitbull was.
Fallon played a ton of people in this
Yeah,
because yeah,
he really patted himself. He did an Alan Rickman impression just because
yeah, it was
like
a good Alan Rickman. Yeah.
good Alan Rickman. Jay Farrow coming through with an awesome DMX impression.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, and again, Fallon coming through with a Harry Styles impression. And
Mm-hmm.
who else we have?
The
Oh,
wig he had to make him look like Harry Styles was just dead on, man.
the wig was doing a lot of the heavy lifting.
The wig, yeah, because I think it was mostly a nonverbal impression. It was just him like standing there looking cute. So like whoever in the SNL hair department did that wig,
Hmm.
oh, kudos.
We had Noelle Wells, if you remember her, who did her little
Mm-hmm.
Zoe Deschanel impression.
I always liked Noelle Wells, and yeah, she's always been somebody I kind of regret that she didn't stay on the show for a little longer than she did.
Yeah, I hear you. Maybe like if she was like the Lauren Holt of her day, where you feel like she could have done more if she was able to sort of break through a little bit more, but it didn't quite
Yeah,
get
but she
there.
had she had some great impressions, and I liked her. I remember I liked her when she was Aziz Ansari's girlfriend on Master of None. Um, I haven't seen her in too much else since then, but yeah, I mean, she's always somebody I'd like to keep an eye out for.
Yeah, I thought she was really good, and when she played the Lena Dunham character when they did like a parody of Girls in that
Mm-hmm.
pre-tape,
Yeah, that was terrific.
that was really good. Yeah, like I think that's a episode Tina Fey hosted, and then they had
Mm-hmm.
Taron Killam as Adam Driver's character. I really dug that
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
Like,
that was a lot of fun. That was a
yeah,
lot of
yeah,
fun. I remember like Cecily Strong playing Shoshana and had the big bun thing on the side of her head.
yeah, yeah. It was a good stuff. I mean,
Mhm.
interesting that we're talking about all that and not talking about this sketch.
Not too much to say about this sketch. Honestly, I mean, it's a rapid fire thing. It's fun. It's cute. It's yeah.
Yeah, we have Bobby Moynihan as Andrea Bocelli singing "I Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus," so
Hmm.
that's in there. because he's blind. Hey,
Is he?
isn't he?
I don't know.
I thought he was. Oh shit!
I generally don't know.
Did I just out him? I thought he was.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure he is.
I don't think you really keep being blind a secret unless you're like Daredevil.
Oh, that's right. That's true.
Yeah.
I thought. Now I
And
don't.
now I've just outed Daredevil. So.
Damn it! He's gonna come after us, man. He's the devil of Harlem Kitchen, Hell's Kitchen. God damn it!
He's got to go fight the Kingpin.
Oh boy.
It's okay. His secret identity has been exposed before.
Oh,
that was for you, comics nerds.
You're welcome, comic nerds. You're welcome.
Yeah. I wish I could remember which issue of Back Issue I have an article about Daredevil in right now. It's somewhere in the early hundreds, I think. I interviewed Mark Waid and Ascenti about their Daredevil runs. Check it out.
So. Okay. All right. Wait. All right. So I'm looking up now. He doesn't seem to be blind. He has congenital glaucoma. So
okay.
He has sight issues. So we'll just.
Okay. All right. I did not know that.
Yep. Now you know the
I
rest.
learned a little something about Andrea Bocelli today.
See, we entertain and inform here at the SNL Nerds.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. So lastly, we've got another pre-tape segment. This was a TV Funhouse segment from Robert Smigel and G.J. Settlemeyer. This is from a show that Jack Black hosted on December 17th, 2005, season 31, episode 9. It was Christmas time for the Jews.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite actually pre-tapes of SNL, and it's one I feel like is a little underrated.
This is a classic. This, by the way, written by Eric Drysdale, Julie Klausner, Scott Jacobson, and Robert Smigel. And actually, our friend Andy Hoagland, who writes for Entertainment Weekly, he pointed out that there's a great oral history of this on Uproxx, all about how they conceived the sketch and put it together. That was written by, let me find the name of the writer. That was written by Jason Tabriz. So I already tweeted out the link from the SNL Nerds Twitter account. Just go to SNL Nerds Show, and you can find the link there and read that. And good stuff.
It's a good stuff. So for those who haven't seen this sketch, I highly recommend you do. It's basically a TV Funhouse. It's done in like the old school sort of David and Goliath claymation style. And
Rankin Bass, yeah.
Yes, exactly. And it's it's this sort of 60s doo-wop group singing about how once all the Gentiles go to bed, all the Jewish people get to go out and have the city to themselves. It's Christmas time for the Jews.
Yes, yeah, and it takes some of the cliches, like eating the Chinese food on Christmas because that's the only place that's open, and just kind of the our Jewish friends making their own way in the world.
Yeah,
when the entire world is geared towards Christmas, and we had a little claymation Jon Stewart. That's fun.
They go and watch the Daily Show. They go watch plays with Jewish actors because all the Christian ones are off, and the song is really fantastic. The song is basically like this old '60s Phil Spector Wall of Sound type of song to it, and it was sung by Darlene Love, who is a singer who has worked with Phil Spector and Elvis Presley and a lot of singers.
That's a great get for the show. They got the real Darlene Love to sing this. And I was reading in the oral history that they had to turn this out in like 3 weeks. They had to animate to a scratch track with somebody else singing, and then they got the real Darlene Love, and they had and they're editing basically up until like 15 minutes before it aired. So it's insane the amount of work that went into this. But yeah, it's and Robert Smigel said that he was so overjoyed that they got Darlene Love to sing on it. He put like her credit in this huge font at the end, and like so much so that Lorne Michaels made fun of him after that.
Why such a big font?
But this is it's a classic sketch. Unfortunately, it's a little overshadowed because you know what I found out? This sketch, it aired, as I said, on the December 17th, 2005 show. It was the same night that another short called Lazy Sunday debuted.
Yes,
So
I remember that.
that that was earlier on the same night, I believe, and Lazy Sunday was the one that went super viral.
That's like the one that pretty
And
much invented YouTube.
pretty much, I mean, so yeah, that's interesting. That's a cool bit of history there.
Right. So, folks, while I mean, both of these two sketches were in the same episode. That's pretty phenomenal. So, I mean,
I
guys,
mean,
while
that's great.
that's yeah, 1-2 punch. So, guys, while we do love Lazy Sunday, it's amazing. Go watch Christmas Time with the Jews. Go give that some love
Hmm.
because it's really pretty spectacular. That's good. I really
These two Gentiles endorse Christmas time for the Jews.
L'chaim.
So yeah, so Mazel Tov on a great sketch, Robert Smigel and friends.
Absolutely. And yeah, and then that's pretty much the episode. We have all of five of the folks that stayed around on the
Hmm.
stage, waving goodbye to everybody. We have a stripped down band. It's just Lenny and a piano player.
Yeah,
And I don't know, I kind of like that. Like I like the like very
and they're sort of miming hugging each other because they're all trying to socially distance. It's weird to see them at the very end all masked up when we've literally watched them in the show where they're unmasked throughout the rest of the show.
that's we got too comfortable. That's when we were getting too comfortable.
It's yeah,
Uh,
it's
but
weird. Um,
But yeah, there's something about like the lone saxophone playing of Lenny Pickett and the piano
mhm.
playing. It's I don't know. It's kind of I don't know. It's kind of it felt very like kind of New Yorky to me. Like maybe a little haunting. That sparseness of the sound in there. It felt the stripped
Yeah,
downness of it. I don't know. There's something that felt a little. I kind of liked it. I can't put my finger on
yeah.
it, but there's something
I mean,
about it
I
I found.
liked it. It was a whole different vibe for the show, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the little host segments they did. They did what they could.
They did what they. I think. Yeah. I think ultimately that those are my thoughts about this episode. They did what they could.
Yeah.
It had some
I mean,
st-
I liked when Tom Hanks came out at the beginning and he was like, "If you think I'm going to fly 3,000 miles and not be on TV, you've got another thing coming." Um,
Tom Hanks, bitch. I wish he said that, but he did not.
he did not, but we did get a little Twitter comments about the show. A lot of people had opinions on this.
Yeah, let's go to the
Uh, do we,
Twitter.
wa- yeah, do we want to dive into this?
We do. We do.
Okay. All right. So let's start out. Should we do this in chronological order or?
Yeah. Let's
Okay.
do that.
Okay. Well, first one looks like the first one to comment was our old friend Manette Marati, who says a glorified SNL Christmas special. Just not do the show and put all the content online. It was all great except for the socks sketch.
Mm.
Agreed. But interjecting the show with clips that were all full of laughter just drove home how quiet and depressing it actually was in studio. So,
Yeah, I
yeah,
could see
I
that.
think you make some good points there.
Absolutely. Let's see. Maybe. Oh, here. Let's go with this one. Good friend John Ananias at
Hmm.
Burton S92 saying, when it comes to the older segments, the high point of the night for me was seeing the global warming Christmas special. With the understanding that it's nice to have had a show at all, would you have preferred more obscure or underseen sketches like that had been included? And I'll say yes. I'm
Oh
always
yeah, I'll say yes. I mean, I definitely would have loved to have seen that Pete Davidson Rudolph sketch again. I thought that was hysterically funny. I think was that when Jason Momoa was hosting?
I believe so. I think
I
yeah.
think Jason Momoa played Santa in that,
I think
if
you're
I'm not
right.
mistaken.
I think you're right.
I'd have to look that up though. I would have loved that. I wouldn't have minded seeing. I mean, it's a classic. I don't know if it's really underseen, but I would have loved to see the alternate ending to "It's a Wonderful Life" from the
Oh
William Shatner
yeah.
show.
That
With, I mean, because
I mean, that's
that ends with all of them like just stomping Mr. Potter to death.
yes. Like, that's a sketch I didn't get when I was a kid because I'd never seen It's a Wonderful Life yet. But then
Uh-huh.
after I saw It's a Wonderful Life, I was like, oh, okay. I get now why
Yeah.
it's funny that they beat an old man to death.
Yeah, because I mean, in that movie, Mr. Potter never faces any comeuppance, and I don't think it's even discovered that he stole the money. So
He got away scot-free. Fuck that.
he got away scot free. I mean, you can only hope that when the new year came around, they figured it out, and that, or he had a heart attack and died a miserable old man. But
we can only hope.
we can only hope. But I mean, yeah, it's so great. I mean, you have Dana Carvey imitating Jimmy Stewart. You have Jan Hooks as the Donna Reed character. You have Dennis Miller making a rare appearance in a sketch as Harry Bailey. That was fun.
Yeah, it was a great.
And it's all introduced by William Shatner. I mean, come on.
Yeah, like we could have used that, but again, maybe it's one of those things
Yeah.
where you need to see It's a Wonderful Life in order to understand why it's funny that they're beating this man within an inch of his life.
Yeah. I mean, but fortunately, lots of people have seen It's a Wonderful
Yes,
Life.
absolutely. Not everybody. I've heard a few people who haven't. They're out there.
Well, those people are wrong.
Okay. Merry Christmas, everybody.
I'm going to give you a little hot tip. It's a Wonderful Life. Good movie.
What?
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
I think NBC still airs it on Christmas Eve, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they've had the rights for the last few years, I believe.
Yeah.
So I mean, those are two I really would have liked to have seen.
I would
Always fun to see the Alec Baldwin, Glenn Ross parody where he's talking to the elves.
Oh, right. Put the cookies down, or Coco's for closers. Yes, I remember that.
Yeah. I mean,
I would have
I came here on a talking moose.
I would have liked to see a Hanukkah Harry, to be honest. Like, that was a sketch from my
Stop! You're embarrassing me.
That's the one from my childhood I remember getting a kick out of.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he takes like Santa's place and he gives the kids socks, and the
Yes.
kids are like, socks, and it's like 12 pair. Can you believe it?
I think that might have also been one that Robert Smigel had a hand in. He talks about that early on in the oral history for Christmas Time for the Jews, I believe.
Okay.
No, actually, wait, no, that isn't one that he wrote. So, but they were just talking about other Jewish themed sketches that they did around Christmas time. So,
got it. All right, but yeah, I wonder if do you remember that one? It was like when Jerry Seinfeld hosted, and he played Elijah, and he was coming home into like a Jewish home because like they kept the chair empty for Elijah the prophet, and he comes to this Jewish home, and he's kind of a dick.
that sounds vaguely familiar, but I don't really remember it. No.
Like, he kind of comes in as like a freeloader, and it's like,
Okay.
hey, Pops, where's the liquor in this joint? Like, kind of like that.
See, that sounds funny. I wouldn't mind seeing that.
It like hits on the daughter. It's like, hey, baby, I'm Elijah the prophet. Like,
Well, I mean, hey, anytime Elijah is hitting on a teenage daughter, hilarity is to be had.
I think maybe in my single days I might have said that as my come on line to a lady or two. It's like, hey, baby, I'm Elijah the prophet. My youth. In my youth.
Did that work for you in your single days?
No, not at all.
Okay. Yeah. Can't imagine why.
Let's read another tweet. Hey.
Let's read another tweet. We got one from Steve Harold here. He says the global warming sketch was highlight, even though it was for 1991. Most of the time, Rudd looked like it was thinking, why am I here? Especially during that weird update segment. Should have just aired a rerun.
Yeah, a lot of people are kind of on the fence about whether they should have, aired anything at all or not. A lot of people are like, oh, the show must go on. Other people are like, no, it's a pandemic. Don't be a dope. Stay home and be safe. We also got a tweet from Glennie Brock saying a weird and glorious comfort, probably a harbinger of all new horrors, but still worthwhile. I wish I had laughed more, but I found myself about to weep with gratitude. So that's yeah, harbinger of all horrors,
but not inaccurate.
Yeah, see, this is why they do it, so they can get people to weep with gratitude for all the evil that's about to come at us.
From TV taught me how to feel. At sitcoms raised me. Says definitely strange, but Paul, Tina, Tom, and Keenan work great together. Agreed. They kept it light and fun. Wish Paul could have had his real Five Timers induction, but it was nice to see an actual vintage sketch from '91, actually 1990. But
Right. Yeah, we're
so
not gonna nitpick, but yeah, that was actually 1990.
I'm
And
just I'm just saying, Tom Hanks, dirty stinking liar.
right, you heard it here first. And finally, we got a tweet from our good friend Mikey, longtime listener, first
Mikey
time
with
caller.
two E's.
Yes, longtime listener, first time caller, saying, "Wow, not what I was expecting, even after the announcements. Thought we'd get a few live sketches with a reduced cast and crew. I mean, they could have just rerun an oldie. Really confused why they didn't, but kudos to them for doing it live, and I think I love SNL even more now." So I mean, people are divided on this. Like, some people love that they went through with it. Other people are like, they should have done a rerun. And I don't know. I think I see both points. I guess I'm still on the fence with it, but overall, I think I'm pretty happy that we got this episode.
I mean, I feel like they were probably just required to do a new show of some kind because I mean they'd already sold all their advertising space.
Mm-hmm.
Here in the New York area, we got an ad for Louis C.K. just dropped
Oh boy.
a new special. I don't know how to feel about that. It's called Sorry. I have no idea if he actually apologizes in the special or not. I watched
Yeah.
some snippets of it. I don't know if I want to drop any money on it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm of two minds about it.
Yeah, I think I'll stay back and wait till I hear what other people watch it say. Then I'll make my ruling. But
well, the main thing I want to hear is, does he address the elephant in the room?
I
Does
wish.
he address that thing in any sort of meaningful way?
Yeah, and
because if he does, great. I want to hear what he has to say. But if not,
yeah, and I feel like a lot of comedians feel that that's the one thing that, I mean, of course, what he did was horrible, but also, like, he's a person who's always talked about the horrible things he's done and gone through. So for him to not talk about this is a little disingenuous, as it were. Like,
yeah. I don't know. I have to find out a little more about what's going on with that
agreed.
thing. You know. So.
Agreed. And so yeah, that's the episode, guys. Thanks again for listening. What's up?
Nope. I'm just repeating what you said, only a little more wistfully.
Got it. That's the end, guys. Hey, man. And then, as always, thanks again for listening so much to the episode. To listening to the podcast. As always, you can follow us on Twitter at SNL Nerds Show. Please give us a follow. Tell your friends. Tell your family. Listen to the
retweet us when we say something funny or witty, or when we show a fun sketch, because that helps boost the profile too.
Yeah, we say funny things once in a while. Boost.
I mean, law averages alone.
Yeah, exactly. 9 times out of 10, Brooke and Clock is right twice a day. So yeah. So do that. Follow us on Patreon at SNL Nerds. No, wait, at Non-Productive.com/SNL Nerds. And hook us up. Go to our Patreon. Give some dough. Hook us up with some moolah, some cheddar, some fat ducats. And as always, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Darren Credible. That's DARIN Credible.
And you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram, but why would you want to? I'm at Trumbull Comic, TRUMBULL, and the word comic. Not why would you, I wasn't saying why would you want to in a self-hating way. It's just I barely use Instagram. I really just am on Instagram to track like people from SNL and some other profiles, and somehow I have 285 followers. I've never posted a damn thing outside of comments.
It's the mystique, man. Like, oh, who's this guy who doesn't follow anybody or do anything? He must be really important.
No, I follow people. And I'll comment on posts and I'll like posts and stuff.
I guess there's something.
I just do not feel the need to post anything of my own on there.
I guess this is something about the mystery of John Trumbull. Like, that draws people in. I guess maybe, it's like how,
Uh,
you know, maybe.
yeah, I guess.
Okay, all right. I'm just trying to create a
I
mystique
don't
for
know.
you.
I'm me all the time, so I don't see the fascination.
I could do without.
I mean, me in limited doses, yeah, that's fine. Me 24 hours a day, it's a lot.
Yeah,
It's a lot.
you don't want all this in your lives, people.
No, no. So, but hey, we'll be back next week. I'll have some more self hatred.
Same. Same.
Yeah. So next week, because it's Christmas, we're going to be just past Christmas. We're going to do another Christmas theme show because SNL is off. Probably a good thing.
I would say so,
so
yeah.
so we're going to cover a Christmas special starring a very notable SNL alum. We're going to cover something that's been out on Netflix for the last few years. We're going to cover A Very Murray Christmas, starring SNL's own Bill Murray.
Yeah, this will be my first time seeing it. I have not seen it, so I'll be going in with fresh eyes. So,
yes, this will be my second time watching it. I suggested it. It's been something I was thinking like, oh yeah, that'd be good for us to do around Christmas. It also, besides Bill Murray, it has Amy Poehler, it has Maya Rudolph, it's got Rashida Jones, George Clooney and Miley Cyrus pop up in it, I believe. There are some other people I'm sure I've forgotten at this point, and when I come across them, I'll be like, oh yes, they were in it. So yeah, go check that out on Netflix, and then come back here next Monday, the 27th, to hear what we think of it.
all right, far out. Can't wait. I'm all my heart's all aflutter. Can't wait.
I know, it's exciting, isn't it?
It is. Oh, it is.
It is. So that's what we're going to do next week. We'll see you then. Until then, nerds out.
Nerds out.
And I just got to say, my nerds out was much more enthusiastic than your nerds out.
Oh, sorry. All right. Nerds out! Is that better?
Okay, that was like half you, half Beaker from the Muppets, but okay.
I was going for like David Lee Roth. Oh, give up, Beaker. Yo! Nerds out! Go ahead and jump! Is that better?
It was different.
This has been a non-productive media presentation. Executive producer, Frank Hablawi. This program and many others like it on the Non-Productive Network is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Please share it, but ask before trying to change it or sell it. For more information, visit non-productive.com.